Okay, so this deep dive is going to be really fascinating. We've got excerpts from John, a psalm, and a reading from Daniel, and then a reflection, too. All of them kind of center around truth and freedom and how faith plays into that. Like, how does believing in something bigger affect how free we actually feel?
Yeah, and the cool thing is we've got these ancient texts, right? But they all speak to those huge questions humans have always had about, like, belief and what it means to be truly free, what's actually real. I think we're going to see some pretty surprising connections here.
For sure. Let's jump right in with the Gospel of John. There's that part where Jesus says, "You will know the truth, and the truth will make you free."
Right.
And the people he's talking to, they just don't get it. They're all like, "We're descended from Abraham. We've never been slaves. What are you even talking about?"
It's like you're thinking about freedom in a totally different way. Like, they think because of their heritage, their ancestry, they're already free. But Jesus is talking about something way deeper. He says, "Truly, truly, I say to you, everyone who commits sin is a slave to sin." So he's not talking about, like, political freedom or anything like that. He's talking about being free from sin itself.
I see. Okay, so what exactly is this, this sin?
It's like anything that separates us from God, right? Anything we do or believe that goes against what God wants for us. So being a slave to sin is like being trapped by those things that keep us from having a real relationship with God.
And then Jesus uses that analogy about the slave and the son.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Like the slave, they don't really belong, but the son, they're always part of the family. And Jesus is saying that if he sets you free, that's real freedom, like being a son.
It's a totally different kind of belonging, like a spiritual inheritance or something.
Right. Okay, so then things get kind of heated. Jesus is like, "Okay, you say you're descendants of Abraham, but you're trying to kill me. My words don't mean anything to you." And then he says something really interesting. "I speak of what I have seen with my father, and you do what you have heard from your father." It's like he's saying they're listening to the wrong voice.
Totally. They're so focused on being related to Abraham, this huge figure in their faith. But Jesus is saying, if you were really his descendants, you'd act like him. Abraham listened to God, but these guys are doing the opposite.
And they just keep digging in. They're like, "No, Abraham is our father."
Yeah.
And Jesus says, if you were Abraham's children, you would do what Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth which I heard from God. This is not what Abraham did. So it's not just about being biologically related, right? It's about actually following in his footsteps, living the same way.
Exactly. And then, oh man, it gets even more intense. Jesus says they're doing the works of your father, and they get all defensive. They shout back, "We were not born of fornication. We have one father, even God." Like, whoa, hold on a second.
Yeah.
It's like they're totally rejecting what Jesus is implying, that maybe, just maybe, they're listening to the wrong father figure, so to speak.
And Jesus' response is just so direct. He says, "If God were your father, you would love me, for I proceeded and came forth from God. I came not of my own accord, but he sent me." He's not beating around the bush. He's straight up saying he's from God, sent by God. For everyone listening, think about that. Jesus isn't talking about truth as some abstract idea. He is the truth, and knowing him, that's where real freedom comes from.
Right. It's not just about having knowledge. It's about letting that truth, that relationship with God through Jesus, actually change you and makes you think, right? These people, they thought they were free because of who they were related to, but Jesus is offering a whole different kind of freedom.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. We've got this song from Daniel. This is just beautiful. It's all about praising God.
It's really powerful.
Over and over you hear, "Blessed art thou, and to be praised and highly exalted forever." And it's not just like a general God is great kind of thing. They're really specific about who they're praising.
Right. They start with God of our fathers, so that connects them to their history, their ancestors. Then it's God's glorious holy name, God in the temple of holy glory. And then this is awesome, God sitting upon cherubim and looking upon the deeps on the throne of his kingdom. So they're not just saying God is powerful, they're painting this huge picture of where God is and how God rules.
It's like they're trying to capture all of God's awesomeness.
Right.
And it gets more intense every time they repeat it. What do you think they're trying to say about God here?
I think they're trying to say God is both close to them and in charge of everything. Like, God is involved in their lives, but also way bigger than that. It's a pretty amazing expression of faith.
It makes you think, even if we don't use all the same imagery today, that feeling of awe towards something bigger than us, that's something a lot of people still feel.
Oh, absolutely. that need to express that, to praise something greater than ourselves. That's timeless.
Okay, ready for a story. The reading from Daniel. This one's intense. It's about these three guys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And King Nebuchadnezzar's like, you got to worship this golden statue or you're going in the furnace. Talk about a tough choice.
Yeah, no kidding. But their response is incredible. They basically say, we know our God can save us.
Right.
But even if he doesn't, we're still not going to worship your statue. That part, even if he doesn't, that blows me away. They're not even asking for a miracle. They're just completely committed to their faith no matter what happens to them. Right. It's like they found real freedom in that commitment. They weren't afraid of anything.
I know. It's so powerful. But of course, the king doesn't like that one bit. Gets furious, makes the furnace like 7 times hotter, and throws them in.
And then, plot twist, the king looks in, and there's not 3 guys, there's F4.
What?
Yeah. And the 4th one looks like a son of God. Can you imagine? You're the king, you just condemned these guys to die, and now they're just walking around in the fire with, like, an angel or something.
Wow. Okay, so what does Nebuchadnezzar do?
Well, he freaks out, of course, but then he does a total 180. He starts praising their God. He's like, blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They disobeyed me and chose to be loyal to their God instead. Talk about a vindication.
I love it. They stuck to their beliefs, even when it seemed impossible, and then bam, unexpected help arrives. It shows you what can happen when you stay true to your convictions.
It really does. And it makes you think about the power of faith, right? Like maybe there really is something bigger at work, something that can intervene when we need it most.
Okay, last but not least, we have this modern reflection on Psalm 119.30. This verse goes, I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I have set my heart on your laws. And the reflection talks about how real freedom comes from living in God's truth.
Yeah, it's like a modern take on what we saw in John. Sin traps us, but Jesus sets us free.
Right. And it's not just about knowing this stuff intellectually. It's about choosing to live that way every single day. Choosing truth over all the lies and distractions the world throws at us.
It's like an ongoing practice, We have to keep choosing truth, keep choosing to follow Jesus if we want to experience that real freedom.
And the reflection ends with a prayer, asking for help to stay faithful and keep growing closer to God. And then it asks this question, directly to you listening. What truth from Jesus are you being invited to live out more deeply today? So, no matter where you are in your journey, there's always more to learn, more to grow into.
It's bringing it all back to you, right? It's saying, okay, we've looked at these ancient texts, these stories and ideas. Now, what does it mean for you right here, right now?
So as we wrap things up, I think we can see how these different readings, even though they're all kind of different, they all point to this idea that truth leads to freedom.
Exactly. Like in John, freedom comes from knowing Jesus and breaking free from sin. And in Daniel, those 3 guys, they found freedom by staying true to their beliefs, even when facing death.
And through it all, we see this awe and respect for God, like in that psalm. It's pretty inspiring, really.
It is. And the takeaway for me is that freedom isn't just about what's going on around us. It's about what's going on inside us, too. Like, are we choosing truth? Are we committed to what we believe in? That's where real freedom starts.
So here's a final thought for everyone out there. We talked about truth in all these different ways, right? Like something revealed by God, something we hold on to with everything we've got, something that sets us free. So as you go about your day, think about what truth really means to you. How can you live in that truth, and how can that truth help you live a more authentic, more free life?
That's something worth pondering.
It really is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been really thought-provoking.
It has. Thanks for having me.